Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Project Man. Today we're back again on the video. This is gonna be DJ just going over a little bit. So this is for the wrestling fans of the world. I see a lot of people getting upset with like the whole Pat McAfee involved in the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton feud, but I'm gonna be 111% honest. I've given up hope on it already, so I can't really like rage about it. I can be like upset with it, but I can't really be like inflamed with rage on it, because at the end of the day, like I said, I kind of have just co-signed on the fact that this thing is just like so far gone from what we were doing. Obviously there's the clear and obvious story there with like them having 20 years of experience or 20 years together and stuff like that, knowing each other and all this other good stuff, and student, teacher, whatever it is. There was all this clear, as they say, rich history, you know what I'm saying, between the two. They're both top guys now. They're both multi-time world champions, but now it's pretty much all been thrown away because TKO, for whatever reason, no offense to Pat McAfee, but they, for whatever reason, think that Pat McAfee is now the keys. Not Royce Keys, like who debuted tonight. They think he is the key to selling more tickets. And I was saying this off camera. The fact that they think that not only that Pat McAfee is going to be the reason why you start all of a sudden seeing astronomical ticket sales, but on top of that, think about it like this. They literally ran the same venue for WrestleMania, where ticket prices are at their highest, by the way. They did this for back-to-back years, right? And like it was supposed to be in New Orleans, and now they ran it again in Vegas just because they were willing to pay more to host the show. And I'm like, okay, so did the businessmen, right? All these billionaires and stuff like that, clearly they're right. You would think they know what they're doing. Did these billionaires not understand that running the same venue twice for WrestleMania of all places in back-to-back years, that was inevitably going to lead to about a 10 to 20,000 ticket sale drop? Like, they should have expected that. Not only with the tickets being expensive, but you ran the same venue twice back to back. So those people that paid last year probably aren't going to have the money to go again. You know what I'm saying? We've seen people all the time where like when you go to the same place twice back to back, it's probably going to sell less tickets because, again, you're not giving it time to breathe. That market has not had time to build their pockets back up, man. But either way, or I should say beside that point, let's talk about what actually happened, though. Pat McAfee came in there. I actually didn't mind the promo he did on Punk, saying that, so you want to talk about how, TKO lowered the ticket prices, you know what I'm saying? Then he said, hey, I talked with Ram Truck and they was willing to pay that 25%, and WrestleMania on night one would be 25% off. For fans who want to, basically purchase tickets from then to Monday, it'll be 25% off. So really, we're just promoting the fact that hey, they're lowering some ticket prices or whatever. See, I'm the hero, whatever. But then he went in on Punk saying, so it's hard to take you seriously when you got a WWE licensed shirt and you got about 283 items on their merch shop. So when you get that check that gets cleared from TKO, is it for the fans that can't afford WrestleMania fund, or is it the I'm sorry Saudi Arabia bank account? So you know what I'm saying? It was pretty good. I actually, when it came to the stuff he said about Punk, I didn't think it was bad. And it was just weird though, because he was then like, well, if you want to go to WrestleMania night 2, I wouldn't suggest you watch that. I mean, considering he's talking about Punk, like that slop who is talking about guys more famous than him and bigger than him and all this other stuff, I wouldn't want to pay to see. I wouldn't recommend paying to see night 2, but night 1 is where it's at. And I'm like, if you're trying to get Pat to sell more tickets for WrestleMania, why would you have him bury one of your nights that's, I think, actually selling better? So it didn't even make any sense, because like night 2 is selling better than night 1. So if Randy Orton is this savior of wrestling, why is the night he's on not having more ticket sales? So this is where the promo is not good as far as the logic. So I actually didn't mind his delivery and some of the insults when he's insulting the fans and calling them, fat and all this other stuff and idiots and morons, and he's even cursing a little bit and all that stuff. So I actually got some entertainment value out of when he was just insulting and stuff like that. But logically, a lot of this didn't make sense. Like I said, the fact that he's talking about Randy Orton being the savior of wrestling, but yet the night 2 is actually selling better than the one Randy's main eventing. And then on top of that, Cody Rhodes comes out there and he's like, wait a minute, how is all of a sudden this company horrible and bad when you literally, like, the last 3 years, you've been standing on the announce table yeeting about to Jey Uso's theme song? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, because so basically, Cody's really out there just calling out the fact that this is not the direction they want to go, and he's pretty much calling out TKO for their BS, but he's trying to disguise it as a promo. And he also tells Pat McAfee to go home, Pat. Nobody wants you here. People have universally agreed, these fans have universally agreed that they want to see Randy Orton. You know what I'm saying? For once, we actually agree with something as a community, as far as, usually the wrestling fans are divided, but we actually universally agree on something for once, that, we want to see Randy Orton and all that type of stuff. Because, yeah, he was saying that Pat McAfee needed to take the shades off and said, was you high? Because, like he said, you was just yeeting on the announce table. So, like, how is all of a sudden the business bad and in dire need of saving? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so it was literally them punching holes in the logic of this entire thing, which to me is their way of trying to say, hey, we don't want this. You know what I'm saying? And then Pat just started going off on, again, I was getting entertainment out of it still, even though it's not a good story, and we're so far. That's why I can't even get upset, because, like, I just know we're so far. It'd be different if it could still be salvaged, but because I know we're so far gone from the story we should have gotten, I'm just not even, like, gonna, like, rant and rage like everybody else. Because, again, I know we're it's over with. I can only just, I'm like Cena, right? He's smiling, he's tapping out. That's how I feel about the story. It's like, well, it's over. I can't even get, you know what I'm saying? It's just over with, man. But anyway, Orton comes out there and he's like telling Cody, hey, I basically, he beat up Jelly Roll and said, hey, I'm gonna bring him down here to you, because Cody was getting told by Pat McAfee, yeah, be like a little bitch or whatever, and suck Triple H's ass and politic and all this other stuff, and just calling him out. You got you're a fake champion because you got, or you're more fake than me, because I think Cody will say he was cosplaying, or he wasn't. He was a play wrestler. He said Pat McAfee was playing the role of play wrestler, especially after he was doing a bunch of insults and catchphrases after Randy Orton was beating Cody up last week. And he was saying that, like, if anybody's fake, it's you, because you got the freaking dyed hair, the fake teeth, the $10,000 suits that Ric Flair told you to wear because he thinks it's okay or whatever and stuff like that. So, like, basically you're more fake if anything. And like I said, all the stuff about him kissing up the Triple H and all this other stuff to get ahead, and he was saying a lot of wild stuff. And some of this was as Cody was walking down the ramp. And so when Cody was about to attack Pat McAfee, which he was told earlier in the night that he couldn't for whatever reason, Randy Orton appears on the Tron and he's beating up Jelly Roll, and then I guess they brought Jelly Roll down the ring, and then they beat up Cody, and then Pat McAfee left with the title over his shoulder, and then they drove off, and him saying, hey, you're welcome, Marks, and all that good stuff, and drove off in the truck. And it's just, again, I actually got some entertainment value out of it when he was throwing just the insults. Like, Pat McAfee, I do think it's still entertaining, but there's no logical reasoning with this entire story, so that's what's ruining the whole thing. And, obviously, it's TKO kind of forcing them to get McAfee into this, but if I was there to be creative, I would have Pat McAfee involved in this as least as possible. Like, okay, TKO want him involved. Okay, cool. I would have gave Pat like a 2-minute promo. 1 minute to address what CM Punk said about him. The other minute to, kind of maybe talk a little trash about Cody and put Randy over as the guy who's going to take over or whatever. Because, funny enough, Cody in the promo also pointed out the fact that the Attitude Era was 30 years ago and Randy was in high school when it happened. Like, he wasn't even a wrestler yet. And then when he became a wrestler and debuted on WWE television, that was after the Attitude Era was over. So, again, poking holes in the logic, which is their way of saying, hey, we don't like this creative, so we're just going to bury TKO, putting Pat McAfee in this by poking holes in the logic that they have, that Pat McAfee's been saying. But anyway, yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. They, like I said, clearly they didn't want to go this story route, and it was just crazy because it just seems like we had such a layup. We've been waiting to see Cody and Randy Orton for, however many years since Cody really has come back, and especially when they've had Randy tease looking at his title. We've been waiting to set up this match for a long time. Granted, technically they did it at King of the Ring, but they never did it as an actual feud and story. So we've just been seeing him staring at this title for like the last 3 or 4 years and not doing anything. And for this to be the payoff, right, we're finally getting that Mania. Orton does a great heel turn, right, kind of going back to his old self, and the voice is back in his head and all that. just for us to end up getting Pat McAfee. I feel like it's like Doctor Strange when they were discovering all the possibilities of how they could beat Thanos, and then there was like the one solution. I was looking at this storyline like, man, Randy and Cody, there's so many ways they can go, right? Multiple different ways. And the one that they go with involves Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. That is not what I thought. Like, this is not where I thought this story would ever in a million years go. I think when everybody was kind of, I guess you could say, fantasy booking how this story could potentially go, this was not one of the routes they thought they were going to explore at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad like that TKO really thinks that like Pat McAfee is gonna be the one to oh yeah, he actually called him Mcafee. I forgot to say that when I was reviewing Punk's promo. It was Mcafee indeed. I didn't point that out. That was crazy. But anyway, the fact that they think he's gonna be the reason why tickets are gonna be sold. And by the way, I want you to understand, not only are celebrities in the main event of WrestleMania, and it's just ruining it and taking away the attention from the wrestlers who know what they're doing, and the main event should be reserved in a celebrity-free zone. But then on top of that, they literally did this last year with Travis Scott, and that didn't get well received. And they think, okay, the following year, right? They doubled down on celebrities. Instead of going, okay, we'll learn not to have Travis Scott or any other celebrity involved next time in the main event because it didn't lead to anything good and well perceived and well received by the fans. So instead of looking at that as like, okay, we'll learn from our mistake, they doubled down on the celebrities. They got Pat McAfee and now Jelly Roll's involved in this, which could lead to a tag match with Cody and Jelly versus Pat and Randy Orton. So I'm like, the fact that they're doubling down on the celebrity involvement after what happened last year is like, do y'all just not learn from your mistakes? Are we tone deaf? What is going on here? And it's just so far. Like I said, I can't even get mad at it because I just know it's over with. It's just, I know it's over with. I don't know if we'll ever get to really tell the true story with Cody and Randy and just them unfolding their rich history and stuff like that. I don't know if we'll ever get that because the last thing I'm going to say on this is the fact that Pat McAfee, he got more dialogue. He's not even in the main event of WrestleMania, right? As far as like, he's not wrestling in the main event. He's just a part of the story now all of a sudden. He got more dialogue than the guys that's actually in the main event. Like, Pat McAfee got to talk more than the guys that's actually in the main event. Like, Cody and Randy Orton didn't get to talk nearly as long as Pat McAfee did. Like, Pat McAfee got to talk longer than the people that's actually going to be wrestling in the main event. And the fact that in this whole buildup, we still haven't had Randy and Cody actually talk to each other. Like, Cody has said stuff about Randy. Randy has said stuff about Cody. Cody may have said things to Randy. And then the next week, Randy might have said something to Cody. But they've never actually had a conversation. Like, they've never had a back and forth conversation. It's always been one guy says something, the other guy responds by maybe doing something. But it's never been like they just talking to each other. We've not gotten that segment at all. And I get it. They would be in a position right now where they would want to fight each other. But all you got to do is just establish some separation, like whether it be security or whether it be like Randy Orton's up in the stands and he's cutting a promo from up there and Cody's in the ring. Do something to get some type of promo back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're not directly in the ring with each other, or if they are, you can just create some type of separation so that they're able to talk and not just brawl each other, because these brawls have not been doing anything. Cody's continuously getting his tail whooped. They had that awful brawl between Cody and Randy Orton, and then this with Pat McAfee, another just heatless beating of Cody Rhodes. Just no one cares. Who cares about Cody Rhodes getting beat? How does this make anybody want this? The one thing you can give them credit for as well, because of Pat McAfee being involved in this and nobody wanting it, it's technically made them stop booing Cody. Like, technically they've gotten him to stop. And that's what I pointed out during the segment. I was like, well, technically they're not booing Cody anymore. There you go. They found something. They already didn't want Cody to win retain the title, and they found a way to make you not like something, thought of something else happening, which is Pat being involved in this. They were like, you know what, you're not going to like this more than Cody retaining, and so that's what's going to happen. And the fact that Cody also said to Pat McAfee, like, when he was saying that he was high, he was like, well, you know what, we could have Gunther to come and put you to sleep. And it's funny because he had actually already done that to Pat McAfee, so he could have said again, but yeah, the fact that Gunther was getting cheers and claps, and he's supposed to be the hottest heel in the business, but yeah, they're cheering him. If he were to put Pat McAfee to sleep, it lets you know where we're at with all this. But y'all let me know what y'all thought down below. Only other news is, Jade beat EO. Match was okay, and a show ended with nothing. It was just her. She beat EO and then left the ring, and that was how we went off the air. So The show went off the air with nothing interesting. This is where you can't blame TKO on that. Like, that's just WWE not writing anything good for these people to add interest to this match. And then Melo is like overly off the card, you know what I'm saying? Because they had him play a kind of an injury a little bit backstage in the trainer's room or whatever. And, you know, Lil Yachty and all them making fun of the fact that he can't go to Mania or whatever. And he was about to fight Lil Yachty, and it didn't, you know, nothing happened. But yeah, it was nothing that happened on the show. The show was not good. And this has been a bumpy road to WrestleMania. Some things have been good, some things have been bad, and then now we're here where it's gotten really bad. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, from a match card perspective, card looks stacked, but from a build standpoint, I don't know what this has been. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. But anyway, end of the day, we're going to say it is what it is. What's going to be is this certified, legitimized, legalized prodigy continue to come out with content, videos, the bangers every day for you guys. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to talk about, see, react to down below in the comments. Shall see y'all in the next video, man. That's all you need to know, and that's the vibe that DJ's on.